Hello, everyone. Welcome to our info session for strategic learning design. My name is Mushur Chaudhry, and I am the manager of recruitment and sales for the Chang School. Before we get started, I'd like to acknowledge the land on which Toronto Metropolitan University is built upon. Toronto is in the Dish with One Spoon territory. The Dish with One Spoon is a treaty between the Anishinaabe, Mississaugas, and Haudenosaunee that bound them to share the territory and protect the land. Subsequent Indigenous nations and peoples, Europeans, and all newcomers have been invited into this treaty in the spirit of peace, friendship, and respect. I want to pay my respects to the Indigenous peoples, elders, and ancestors who stewarded and cared for nature and the people who lived on the land where TMU is located today. At the university, we've made a deep and long-lasting commitment to truth and reconciliation. I invite you to learn more about this work online. Now, a few key points to help you navigate today's session smoothly. Your microphone will remain muted throughout the event to ensure a distraction-free experience for all attendees. Automated captioning is available for those who are hearing impaired. You can enable it by selecting the captioning option in the toolbar at the bottom of your screen. You will have the opportunity to submit text questions to today's panelists by typing your questions into the question box of the control panel, and you may send in your questions during the session. We will answer them at the end of the presentation. Now I'd like to introduce our panelists for today. First, we have Dr. Aubrey Wilson, Program Director for Continuing Education at the Chang School. We also have course developers, Shannon Webb, founder of the Learning Designers, and Ilona Ovas, with over 20 years of experience in the field, and Program Advisory Lead and Course Reviewer, Laurie Amiruddin, who's also VP of L&D at Kensington. Now, before we dive into the presentation, I want to do a quick temperature check of the room, and we've got a Mentimeter poll for you. So it'll only take a second if you can go ahead and grab your phones or open a browser and head to menti.com. You'll see the code up on the screen. Just enter it and we'll see your responses come in live. We wanted to ask, what motivated you the most to consider this certificate? So if you could just take a second and go to menti.com, and the code is 79257195. And the options that we have are career advancement, career change, skill building for current role, personal interest, and others. So we'll leave that up for just a couple of more seconds as you put in your entries into the options. It's a pretty cool feature. It lets you see live what people are seeing and thinking, and you can see what everyone else is also entering in the poll. So yeah, we've got two for career change so far, one for skill building for a current role, which is really interesting, and one for personal interest. This is really helpful because it also helps our panelists do their discussions and what they're speaking about based on your entrance. All right, so a couple more for skill building for current role there, and one for career advancement. So yeah, once again, thank you so much. And we also have a second poll for you, which we're going to go into now. And this one is just so we sort of understand what is your current level of familiarity with this certificate program. So, we have people coming in always from different backgrounds. So we sort of want to know, if you are high, well informed about the program, moderate, have basic awareness, or low, have minimal or no prior knowledge about the program. Okay, so yeah, we do see a large number of people with no prior knowledge or minimal knowledge, which is fine because that's what we kind of expect as well, and that really helps us. Okay, just gonna leave that up for a few more seconds, and then we'll end the poll and then dive into our presentation of the certificate. All right, we have a overall majority on low and minimal or no prior knowledge of the certificate. So yeah, that gives us really good feedback, and thank you so much for attending this poll. So we'll now end this presentation, and I'll stop sharing my screen, and Randall, back to you. Perfect. So now I'll invite our program director for continuing studies here at the Chang School, Dr. Aubrey Wilson, to go over a brief overview of the certificate. Welcome, Aubrey.
Amazing. Thank you, Mashur. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. I'm so glad that you were able to take some time out of your busy schedules to meet with us and learn more about our program at the Chang School. Do feel free to use the chat, as Mashur said. And if you are looking for maybe a specific career change, if you have any specific skills you're looking to learn, absolutely put those in the chat. Super helpful to know. We can provide some more contextual information as we go through it. As Mashur said, answer your questions at the end. So we'd love to know a little bit more about you if you'd like to share in the chat. So as Mashur said, I'm Dr. Aubrey Wilson, and today I'm going to walk you through the structure of the certificate, the types of professionals it's designed for, and how the learning experience is structured to help you apply practical frameworks, tools, and strategies directly to your work. But before we get into the details, we'll start off with a few quick facts about the program. So the program is delivered fully online. So this will provide the flexibility many working professionals need to continue advancing their skills while balancing career and personal commitments. The program consists of 4 courses that are 10 weeks each, and these courses may be taken in any order, and that's to make sure that you have the most flexibility possible. So based on programs of similar length, because as you may or may not know, this is a brand new program launching in spring, but based on other programs that are similar with 4 courses, most learners complete their certificate in about 1 to 1.5 years. But you do have up to 3 years to finish the certificate if you do need some additional flexibility. And so with that overview in mind, let's take a closer look at who this program is designed for and the professionals who tend to benefit most from the learning experience. So we can move to the next slide. That would be amazing. Thank you. So this program is designed primarily for experienced professionals who are already working in learning and development or closely related fields and who are looking to elevate their impact and credibility. Those who would most benefit are instructional designers or L&D professionals who have been designing and delivering learning for some time and are looking to expand their strategic perspective, strengthen their design approach, and grow their career opportunities within the field. Additional audiences that might benefit are mid-career professionals from HR, training, or organizational development roles who want to elevate their foundational expertise in learning design and move more intentionally into learning and development or advisory roles. What these groups often have in common is that they already bring valuable work experience. What they're looking for is the opportunity to refine their approach, work within proven frameworks and tools, and build the confidence to position themselves as strategic partners in their organizations. And that's exactly the space this program is designed to support. So let's explore the key outcomes you can expect to achieve upon completing the program. So through this program, you'll strengthen the capabilities needed to operate more strategically within learning and development roles. So one important focus is learning how to diagnose performance challenges more effectively. Often, what appears to be a learning issue may actually require a different type of solution, and the program helps you assess those situations and recommend interventions that truly address the performance need. You'll also build on your ability to analyze needs and design evidence-based, human-centered learning experiences that align with broader organizational and business goals. Another key area is learning how to measure the effectiveness of learning initiatives, using data and evaluation approaches to generate insights and inform better decisions. The program also helps you develop the ability to build strong business cases for learning, so you can clearly communicate the value and the impact of learning to initiatives to organizational leaders. And finally, you'll explore how to evaluate and apply learning technologies, including tools like AI, in ways that are thoughtful, responsible, and strategically aligned with your organization's needs. So together, these capabilities help you strengthen both your practical expertise and your confidence as a strategic learning advisor within your organization. So now let's go over some of the admission criteria for the program. Ensuring you meet these criteria is essential to setting yourself up for success and making the most out of your learning experience. So to join the program, you must have an undergraduate degree or equivalent from an accredited post-secondary institution, as well as 3 years of relevant professional expertise in positions such as instructional design, learning experience design, or specific area-specific education such as a certificate or a master's in instructional design or learning experience design. So this requirement ensures that all participants have the foundational level of knowledge and are prepared for the advanced concepts covered in this program. But if you're unsure whether your qualifications meet the admissions requirements, don't hesitate to reach out to our academic advisors and client services team. They're here to help you navigate the process and answer any questions you might have. Now let's walk through the application process. We've made it as straightforward as possible so you can complete your application with ease. So you'll start by preparing an updated resume, including your most recent and relevant experience and education. And once your resume is ready, you'll go to the online application form. So the form will ask for basic personal information, details about your academic background, and any relevant professional experience. After filling out the form, you'll be prompted to upload your resume. And finally, after you review your application, making sure everything is complete and accurate, you'll submit the form. And once you've submitted it, you'll receive a response from our team within 3 business days. Again, if you have any questions or need assistance at any point throughout the application process, our team is here to help you. And then in addition to the courses themselves, as a learner in the Chang School community, you'll have access to a range of supports and resources designed to help you succeed while learning with us. First, there are financial supports available, including bursaries and scholarships, which can help offset the cost of your education. The program is also designed with working professionals in mind, offering flexible learning online so you can balance your studies alongside your professional and personal commitments. As a part of the Chang School community, you'll also have opportunities to connect with peers and industry professionals through Chang School events and programming. Many learners find that these connections become an important and lasting part of their professional network and learning community. You'll also have access to career advising services where you can gain insight into industry trends and receive support with resume development and interview preparation. And even if you aren't looking to switch careers or jobs, our career advising services can help you frame your social media profile to reflect and highlight your new education. And finally, you'll have full access to Toronto Metropolitan University resources and learner privileges, including library resources and academic supports that can help you throughout the program. Taken together, these supports are designed to help you succeed and ensure that you complete your program with stronger professional connections, new insights, and the confidence to apply what you've learned in your work. So thank you for your attention. We look forward to having you at the Chang School. Back to you, Mashur.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that overview with us, Aubrey. Now it's time to move on to our next speaker, who's a talent management powerhouse with over 20 years of experience across multiple industries and 2 countries, helping world-class organizations like EY, KPMG, and Oxford Properties building their talent pipelines. She's a strategic thinker, a coach, and by her own reputation, a natural defogger who helps people learn how to think and learn how to learn. Please welcome Ilona.
Thank you very much. I will try to fit this in 3 minutes that I'm allowed. So maybe I'll start with two interesting facts, interesting to me as a minimum, that connect me or explain why I'm here and why I'm associated with the university Cheng School. I chose to be both HR professional and learning and development professional in Canada, and I have both designations. And when I was working towards my HR designation many years ago, I had to take a lot of courses, and I've done that across many schools and colleges. And one of them was at that time Ryerson, Team U today. And I remember that why I really enjoyed my learning here in the school was the fact that the school is very committed to making sure that what students get is not, academic, theoretical, conceptual knowledge, but really, really connected to what happens outside there in the workplace. And that's why there is a commitment in the school made to work with people like us, like me, Laurie, and Shannon, to bring to bring the material in that makes sense for today's world. And I'm now have a chance and privilege to actually be one of those developers and instructors. And I'm very happy to be here and be part of the certificate. Secondly, when I speak to my colleagues, many of them always say, you know what, it took me about 10 years to figure out what we do in learning and development. I kind of fell in this area. And then depending upon where I was, and sometimes it's smaller companies without mature L&D or lack of mentorship that took people so much time to figure out what we do for a living. My personal ambition through this certificate and through all the other work I do is to help many of you. Unfortunately, I cannot see you, but I wish I could, to help you to understand what L&D is about and what's its raison d'etre is, and how to do the best work you can do in this area. My own path to that point took me more than 10 years. And I started by earning my master's degree in education to teach kids. There was no teaching for teaching adults at the time. So then I came to Canada more than 2 decades ago, and I gone through different companies and different industries, which I have changed on my own accord and my own wish because I wanted to learn through different industries. I've been to real estate and asset management, gold mining. 3 times I've been to professional services, retail, government. I learned a lot about what my profession does. And I went through teaching kids to training and then to now learning for adults, which I think is a pinnacle of very complex processes and knowledge. And I hope that this certificate that under Aubrey's leadership, the school is putting together, that's focusing specifically on very important elements of why L&D is its own profession and what are the emerging trends and complexities in the profession will really serve you well and save you lots of time. And it would not take 10. Nice to meet you all, and welcome.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Ilona. I love what you said about helping everyone understand what L&D is about. It really aligns with our Chang School values as well. So thank you again. I really appreciate you sharing with us today. So moving on to our next speaker, who's a learning design veteran with over 15 years of experience building innovative, accessible, and inclusive learning solutions from K-12 classrooms to post-secondary institutions across Ontario. She is the founder of the Learning Designers, a full-service learning design company in the GTA, and a passionate mentor to the next generation of L&D professionals. Please welcome Shannon.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I think for me, the reason that this certificate is so important is because I do want to bring up this next generation. When I started in L&D more than 15 years ago, it was all very much by accident. And I sort of fell into a role that hadn't yet been defined at that point. Sort of stumbling through, figuring things out, lots of errors and figuring out what would work instead. I was able to grow in an industry that was growing itself. But when we can have programs that, just sort of reach out that hand, that give people the step up to have a base foundation, no matter where they're sort of coming from, what backgrounds or knowledge that they already have. That's something I'm very passionate about, is making sure this next generation, or evolving the generation that's currently in L&D, has those opportunities, has the people, the mentors, the folks to ask the questions to. I personally love being involved in L&D because it feels like a puzzle. So I get to use my like logical sort of my brain side of my brain, as well as my creative side of my brain. And that's why I think so many people are drawn to sort of figuring out the challenges and conflicts or problems of learning and development, and also getting to flex some of the creativity pieces. I think that something that would have helped me growing through the industry would be that knowing that every project, every experience, every learning opportunity was a chance for me to grow my own skills. So rather than just seeing these isolated, great projects or great experiences or really terrible experiences, understanding that the full gamut really was helpful in building who I am and where I sit now, which is running an entire company with people that are all doing L&D. In this program, I've been a curriculum reviewer at the very inception of the program itself. I've also developed one of the courses, Evaluating Learning Design Technologies, and I will be teaching that course. So hopefully I will see you there, and I'm looking forward to hearing any questions you might have.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Shannon. And you're so right. The industry has evolved so much in recent years. So it's amazing to have someone like you join us who's learned to figure out the industry, even though you stumbled across it. So yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing your insights. Now, finally, we have a seasoned learning and development executive with a career spanning retail, publishing, financial services, and travel, and a genuine passion for workplace performance. She's currently serving as Vice President of Learning and Development at Kensington, part of the Navigator Group, and holds two master's degrees, including research focused on social media as a tool for professional development before it was mainstream. Welcome, Lori.
When it was called Twitter, as when you do your MEd thesis on Twitter, I didn't know if that would last or not. You know what? I think there's a common theme here. I hear from Alona and from Shannon, which is, we're in sharing our paths, and I'll share a little bit about mine. We all want to help you have a faster and more effective path, maybe, because I think if I heard the other two ladies correctly, we all had to kind of figure it out as we went along. So we tried to distill some of that into this program, and it is unique in that there's really a strategic element. And as you broaden out your career, or as you try to move up in your career, it's being more strategic that is the thing that might set you apart. So I learned something about Alona today, which is we both worked at Oxford Properties, only I followed you by a year. So we'll have to talk about that. I started out my career as a librarian because there was this thing called the internet and I wanted to get my hands on it. I love information. Learning is one of my top values. And so very quickly in my career, I pivoted into a profession I didn't even know existed, as a naive new hire at Sears Canada in their head office. So I've been really fortunate to work at quite a lot of interesting companies, and the subject matter keeps me engaged, whether it's retail or publishing or legal services, real estate, technical and engineering, and now travel. I have to tell you, the travel subject matter is probably the most interesting of everywhere where I've been in my career. But in 2008, September 2008, which, if you can remember back, that was when the last financial crisis happened. It was the same time that I changed jobs and I moved into my first director role at Oxford. And I had to make it up as I went along and figure out how to be more and more strategic and how not to just be an order taker. When business leaders come and say, "Hey, can you make a job aid on this?" To try to push to have a little bit more of a conversation, to actually diagnose what the real problem was and to evaluate whether or not what my team and I were doing created results. So I'm thrilled to see this program come together. Like the others, I've been involved in providing some guidance with an ear to the workforce from the beginning. And I'm now engaged as a reviewer for the learning needs analysis program. So happy to take questions.
Thank you so much for that, Lori. I definitely will have more questions about the travel subject matter expertise part, so stay tuned for that. But thank you to all of our speakers today. That ends the presentation portion of today's session. Now we will open up the floor to everyone for Q&A. Please feel free to enter your questions by typing them into the question box of the control panel. Okay, so it looks like we've got one question come in already. So the first question is, what type of roles do graduates typically move into after completing the program? So yeah, maybe Laurie, you can start with that, and if anyone else wants to join, feel free to do that.
Sure. This is a flexible program. Learning is kind of what you make of it and what you bring to it. I think when we were targeting this, we were looking for people who may already be working in learning and development, have a bit of exposure. There's some focus on learning design, but we're not going to teach you how to build e-learning. It's not tactical in that way. So really, we're looking for those who want to add on to their kind of foundational knowledge around learning. And often in learning, you start facilitating or you start building e-learning and learning assets. This can help you to have those deeper and broader conversations with business leaders, or to work with your leader and really provide sort of robust background support as well. So, this could be a learning and development consultant, type of level, but also, can definitely add, I think, an enrich learning manager role, instructional designer role. But we are looking for a little bit of foundational experience.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, so for the next question, maybe I will move on to Shannon, and then Ilona, you can also join in. But the question is, which tools or platforms do students typically learn? Articulate, LMS platforms, analytics tools, etc.
Yeah. So again, sort of like Lori mentioned, it's not a direct, here's a how to use these tools. You will be asked to utilize various tools, especially in my course, we sort of look at a whole smattering of tools. And the idea is exposure and knowing when to use one over another. So really about the analysis of, if a client or a manager or a coworker is asking me to use Articulate Storyline, is that the right fit? Why are we using that tool? Or if we're being asked to create a job aid, is that the right delivery of this learning? So again, rather than direct instruction how to, which honestly could be found through things like YouTube, we're trying to level up to the, how do we use this? Where's that puzzle piece that we're talking about, to make sure that we can really justify and solidify our ideas?
Awesome. Ilona, anything you want to add to that?
I probably want to just underline this idea in my own words is that if you are changing careers in your prototype and trying to get a taste of what L&D is about, this is probably the best certificate because it will take you to the very pinnacle of complexity in consulting and thinking and analysis. You really understand what L&D does, but it's not a certificate for you to learn the details and the tools and the how-tos and all of that. If you really want to, after the certificate, to really go into L&D, you probably would need to pick up a couple more courses with the hands-on. But I would say, as I started, my ambition is to help people to save 10 years of their lives. If you want to get an amazingly deep view of L&D and its impact on humanity, this would be a good certificate for you to take. You would need a little bit of experience in L&D area. If I'm saying this right, Aubrey, that's why the resume and the review and the application, which is very rare actually in Canadian education that you do that. You usually sign up, pay, and you go. And this particular certificate, as Aubrey shared with us, you would need to apply and show that you sort of dedicated or been around or related to L&D in some way and have some basic understanding what this is doing to be able to take this certificate.
And while I have you, I think there's a question for you in the Q&A box. It's with your experience, what challenges do you see students usually face when transitioning into this industry, coming from someone who has been in HR?
Yeah. I would say there is a very, I would say, negative interference between specifically HR profession and L&D. And the reason I'm saying that, and it sounds counterintuitive, because L&D today is a part of bodies of knowledge of HR designation in Canada, which is fine. But I think that because L&D became its own thing, and sometimes sometimes it needs actually different and opposing skill sets and sort of intuition compared to HR risk managers. They build structures. We risk takers, we learn by mistakes, we encourage mistakes, we sometimes embellish stories and say things that would be politically incorrect maybe, but we do this all for the purpose of learning. So that's why if you've been in HR, it may be a little difficult for you in the beginning to figure out what we do and how we do this. And I've worked with some HR directors who, when they looked at what we do, and they said, "Oh my goodness, I had no idea. Please throw everything I've done before in your area and do what you do," because I had no clue that there was so much body of knowledge here. And the biggest issue would be for people to understand that people don't learn by being told things. There's a whole complexity of cognitive growth behind the scenes that we need to go through. There is the learning principle, there's neuroscience of brain, how adults learn and all of that. So I would say people think that if they tell somebody something, that they can suddenly do new things. That's not actually true. We are capability engineers. We're scaffolding, we're figuring out how to do this. And it's sometimes counterintuitive for what people assume L&D is about, especially if you come from HR. So you need to, if you want to succeed, you need to throw everything out and sort of really delve into the profession's body of knowledge, and don't assume it's easy. It's not just counterintuitive because we all learn, therefore we all know how to learn. That's actually not true. I don't know if Laurie, I see you're nodding.
Yeah,
I don't
Laurie,
know if
I
you have
think
thoughts.
wants to share. Go ahead, Laurie.
Yeah, 100,000% what Alona just said. I just wanted to give another example too, because I often see that people do have some great skill sets coming out of graphic design, web design, kind of video, that sort of angle. And when they move into learning and development, they're often thinking very much about the assets. And, I'm just building, I can do e-learning because I can do video. And so it goes back to what Alona said. Our profession involves psychology and really that understanding of how do you help people to either internalize information or repeat behaviors or even feel differently about something. And that's not just done by a glossy asset, but it can be a great skill set as a foundation.
That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your insights from the both of you. Okay, so quickly moving on, we've got on to the next question, which is from Charles Ogbede. Thank you so much for your question, Charles. What are the opportunities and benefits this course will bring for someone that is a trainer, curriculum designer, and facilitator in a government agency for elections and census, noting that these are programs that happen not on an annual basis and onboard, train thousands of people in a short while delivering courses in a LMS mode and in person. Yeah, Ilona, go ahead.
I'll be short. I would want my colleagues to also participate. Everything that Charles, you just described, it's doing a very or creating a very, very good solution that can be effective. What it's not doing is looking at the step before to say, do we even need this solution? Because sometimes solution is perfect, but because it's addressing a wrong root cause, then it's not going to be helpful. The only moment when we can help, if the reason people don't do something is because they don't have knowledge or skill, period. We cannot help with anything else in the environment. We only can help with these. And these are root causes to non-performance or poor performance in 10 to 15% of the time. So the fact that we know how to do a beautiful thing can be augmented by deciding even if you need to do it in the first place. And one of the courses in the certificate on needs assessment is helping us to be performance consultants, and actually, which is an area that has its own models and thought processes and tools to figure out what can help and whether one of those solutions is training and development.
Awesome. Anything Lori or Shannon would like to add to that?
I might just add, I was a census representative way back when as a summer job, so I know what you're talking about. And yeah, what Ilona said as well, because you're really trying to be able to make proposals, make recommendations, and not just do the thing that's asked for every however many years and kind of rinse and repeat on that. And we also have a course on evaluation. So really being able to dig in deeper around evaluation of what you've done. I'm sure you debrief and look at, best practices for next time. But being able to engage more with business leaders and be proactive and recommend, have an opinion versus do the job, right? So it could expand out what you're.
Awesome. So we have an open question here for Shannon. Shannon, since you've been one of the pioneers in the industry, how do you see this industry growing in the future? If you can share your insights on that.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I think since I've started in this industry, it's never stopped growing. One of the things I love about L&D is the constant newness, new things to learn, new things to develop. And that can be actually one of the challenges as well. That can be really exciting to, right now, I know there was another question about AI and how that's going to be used in the course as well, or the program. These are new technologies that the world is still figuring out. And there's a lot of pressure for people in L&D who are also seen as, very technical in a lot of ways to make sure we're implementing these tools. Where I think the focus needs to really be on is making sure we're using tools as tools and not as the vehicle. So rather than just thinking, I'm going to use AI because AI is new, or I'm going to use short form video because people love short form video on TikTok and Instagram. And we have to really think about the why. So I think where is it going to end up? I mean, the world is the oyster. I think really it could be anywhere and anything. And I don't see it slowing down at any point soon. Every year, I feel like we're navigating new tools, new ideas, new technologies. And part of our job in the L&D industry is really making sure that we're analyzing those things for the purpose of what we're trying to get across to people. Again, not just using it because it's the new thing, definitely playing, definitely getting exposure. And these courses will let you do that. We will talk about new technologies, emerging fields, etc. But really having that foundation of why we're using those.
I love that. Ilona, I know you have your hand up, so yeah, feel free to chime in.
Just very quickly, I want to say, to add to what Shannon said, every profession these days is disrupted, all of them in all the industries. That's not just technology and AI, but many other things, because we learned a lot about what we do and we kind of come into the next level of quality. But I would say that I had a thought. Sorry. I want to say, I don't know if you noticed the subtle change between, remember, we used to be training and development, and now we're learning and development. And what change was that? It's not just somebody forgot the word and grabbed the next one. It's because you can train someone on something. This is what we used to do. We used to train people on what to do, how to do their roles in this particular company with this particular tools. We train them on employer-specific things. Learning, I cannot learn anyone. They have to do it themselves. They have the agency to do it, and we provide environment and content to do that, and technology in the ecosystem. So our contract with our employers has changed. We now need to develop the entire human person for skills that are taking lifetime to develop. And everything that's training is sort of like it's already in operationalized. So I think our profession sort of coming in the importance, and in some way we're more important than some of other areas of corporate, because after decades of right sizing, downsizing, and outsizing and outsourcing and all of that, the last potential to improve productivity is a human being, and that's where L&D comes in. So the future of profession is amazing, at least in the next 10-20 years, until we figure this out, and nobody has found the answer. So this certificate is a way to actually dig into the most important analytical cool work that L&D can do to figure out how actually to do this new mandate that our workplaces expect of us.
Brilliant. No, I love the distinction between train and learn. It's really so subtle but so important. So thank you for mentioning that. I also want to just shout out at a question that was answered in text. The question was, you've mentioned a lot of the applications to business. Is this applicable to a post-secondary setting, such as working in a teaching and learning office? And Shannon, you had a great answer there, which is that these ideas can really be applied to any industry, much like Lori mentioned. Knowing the foundations allows you to apply these to any area, including higher education. So thank you for that answer. That's great. Lori, I'll move to you for the next question, which is thank you for sharing your experience. If you can talk a little bit about the travel subject matter expertise that you're so excited. I think someone really didn't know about that.
I mean, I really had no idea coming into my organization how learning intensive travel is. We sell the world, and trying to be able to have we call our frontline sales team members destination experts. So to be able to be a destination expert around, customized private touring of Italy, for example, the expectation of a client is that you know everything. And so, it takes us 4 weeks of intensive learning plus some certification, learning and examinations to ready someone to talk to a client on the phone. And, I know if we go back to sort of the AI thread that runs through learning and development now, our organization is definitely interested in AI from a behind the scenes perspective, but we're really leaning into the human element, and that's the differentiator for us. None of our clients calling want to talk to AI. They could go on Expedia if they really wanted to book their own travel. But we have a lot more, exclusive opportunities that you can really only get at through our team members who will know where's the best spot to go see the sunset. And that's, you could Google it eventually. I suppose you'd find it. So yeah, travel across the board is just a very intensive learning opportunity. And even our destination experts, we send them on trips to go and experience live the destinations that they're selling. So yeah, it's fascinating subject matter for sure. But all the principles that we're talking about here apply. And, I spend the lion's share of my time focused on our sales team. And that's a gift when it comes to evaluation because there are so many metrics. And if you do put some sort of learning intervention in place, you have an ability to say, wow, we actually had an impact here. It's harder in some other areas of the business, but sales is always kind of that gift that keeps on giving when it comes to trying to have a very strategic, results focused learning project.
I love it. Thank you so much. I also want to quickly share that there is an enrollment incentive for everyone. So, if you want to secure your spot, you will save $100 for our spring 2026 course. And please look at our website for any and further information because I know there was a question on that. So yeah, we're almost at time. I want to take this moment to thank all of our presenters. We don't have any more open questions left, but thank you so much for all your questions and for the dialogue. And thank you for attending. Thank you to our presenters for joining and answering our questions. If you're interested in more information about the certificate presented today, please visit our website at continuing.torontomu.ca. And if you have any other questions, you can contact me directly at mash.choudhury@torontomu.ca. The contact information and a recording of this session will be sent to you in a follow-up email with the survey within the next 24 to 48 hours. And on behalf of the Chang School and all of our presenters and speakers, thank you for joining us today and have a great rest of the day.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.